What's going on, family? Welcome in to the channel. I am DavidYeti, and I am super excited to have you here today. I decided to put together a special live stream. Obviously, I've seen what's been going on in the industry in terms of the layoffs, not just in the tech sector, but in other sectors too. I've even seen some things about UPS, FedEx, USPS. So, what I wanted to do is put together this presentation, and I'm hoping that it can add value to you. Let me check my microphone first, and I'll wait just for a second and let a couple people come in. Or just give me 1 second. I want to make sure that everything is good on my end. There we go. What's going on? What's going on? Welcome in, family. On this Friday, well, it's evening now. On this Friday evening, 7 o'clock, I'm excited to be here. I got a lot of things that I think is going to add value into your life. So, like I said when I first came in, what I'm attempting to do is add value into your life in terms of giving you a guide. Now, this guide is not solely my creation. Anything you see created on my channel is going to be a collection of things that I've learned, not just from other people, but from mentors, from past experiences, and then learning from other people's experiences too. And I'm hoping that you can take something away from this to apply to your life. Okay. So today's live stream is titled How to Reverse Engineer Your Dream Job. Now, this concept, this strategy has been developed over quite some time. I've been working on this for the last 3 years, and I continue to refine it, iterate it, add things in, take things away based off of the feedback that I get. And the feedback is going to be determined by what results you have. All right. So let's get some straight. At the end of the day, what I operate on is results. Results is the most important thing. I don't care how we get there as long as it's legal, ethical, morally right, and morals kind of swing and win, depends on who you're talking to. But for me, I like to do everything above board. So if you ever see anything on my channel that you have questions about, I want to talk about it. Leave a comment down below. We are building a community here, a community of rainmakers, right? And what we're looking to do is add value to each other in any way possible, run up a bag, build our relationships, build our health, get our finances in order, and many, many more things to come. All right. So let's get started first with a quote. I have this quote here. I'm going to share my screen. Go over here in 1 second. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And I like to start things off with a quote. Let me get my camera right here. Boom, bring that down. Bam. All right. So this quote right here is by Fitzhugh Doxson. It's one of my favorite quotes. And it is, without goals and plans to reach them, you're like a ship that has set sail with no destination. I'm going to say that again. Without goals, first you got to have goals, and then you need plans to reach them. Without those two, you're like a ship that has set sail with no destination. I cannot tell you how many times that I've started off, especially in my younger years, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, when I wanted to accomplish something, but I didn't quite know how to do it. And not only that, I didn't even know where the hell I was going. So, hindsight now, when I look back at it, obviously it makes those things difficult because I didn't even set a target in mind, right? Now, that's the first thing we're going to talk about. Let me take a sip of water. All right. The first thing we're going to talk about is defining your target career, your target goal, your dream job. And we want to take that from idea to being specific. So, what I did, I created this web page right here. Okay. So, this web page is called Your Career Compass. And what the goal of it is, it's a step-by-step guide to help you like reverse engineer any career that you want. I don't care what it is. It can be medicine. It can be a pilot, engineer, teacher, lawyer, doctor, firefighter, whatever it may be. Believe it or not, these 6 steps will allow you to reverse engineer those things and put a plan behind it. Okay, so let's dive into this real quick. Let's get started. Step one, define. We talked about that a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this up. Let me make sure you guys can see this. All right, perfect. Step one, define your target career. Okay, we need to get specific. Now, when you're thinking about what type of career you want, I want you to keep a couple questions in mind. Are you looking to work remote? Obviously, 100% of us want to work remote, but maybe the job you want have hybrid roles. Maybe you want to work on site. I know personally some people who I work with on my team, they prefer to go into the office rather than working at home. So I think starting with that question first, what do you want your work environment to be? That right there will cut a lot of, careers out just by answering that one question. Okay, because obviously if you want to become a doctor, for example, right? I mean, maybe you can be a telehealth doctor, but most doctors work in office. Most dentists work in office. I mean, you can't be a remote pilot, right? So you're starting to get my drift. So the first question I would ask myself is, what type of work environment do I want to be around? Okay. After I define what type of work environment, then I'm gonna ask myself the second question. Okay, like, do I want to do something that's short term or do I want to go something for a long term? Right. Me personally, I always like to focus on long term goals because I believe long term thinking is where the money really is. I give you an example. I took a CDL class probably about a year ago. This is before I got into the sales role that I'm in right now. I was actually going for both roles at the same time. But when I went and took that CDL class, that class was about a month and a half, 2 months long. Okay. Now, with that, it could have eventually turned into a long term play to where I can buy my own truck, maybe be a contractor, maybe get some government contractors or something, uh, maybe Amazon Freight. But I knew that even if I would have became a CDL driver, that was not going to be a long-term career because the prospects 5, 10, 15 years from now, it has a glass ceiling. So you can get into those roles and you can be there for quite some time. So I decided that I wanted to do computer science. And not only that, I was not only going to self-study, but I'm going to go to community college, which I'm enrolled in now. And then I'm going to transfer to a university and finish my bachelor's degree. Why? Because I know with skills, certification, hands-on experience, and a degree, I can pretty much write my ticket and be able to control my career moving forward. Okay. So those are the two questions I would ask. The very first thing I would ask is, what type of work environment do I want? Do I want to work remote? Do I want to do hybrid work? Right? Do I want to go into the office? Do I want to be on site? If you work certain positions, sticking into the technology field, so if you have a security clearance, most of those security clearance jobs require you to go into the office on site every day. It's no, especially if you at a certain level, a classified level, you have to go into the office. Okay. So those are the two questions I would ask. All right. I need something long term, and what type of work environment do I want to be in? Once you get those two questions answered, okay, let's dive into it a little bit more. Specific role in industry. It breaks down. Go beyond tech and healthcare. Pinpoint a title like, I want to be a senior product manager. The industry is like B2B SaaS sales for AI solution company. These two, not prompts, but these two bullet points right here allow you to dive into that a little bit more. And this question right here, do you thrive in a chaotic startup environment? I've worked for a startup before. It's awesome. I like it personally, but not everybody like a startup environment. And define your ideal, see, exactly what I just said. Define your ideal workplace and your day-to-day responsibilities. Okay. Imagine your perfect work week. What specific tasks are you performing? Who are you collaborating with? What type of impacts, what type of change do you want in your career? So these questions, this page right here, step one, let me go back up. Step one, define your target. And you're working on the end product. So where do you want to be at the end of you executing this plan? This is pretty much what these questions are going to answer when you do step one. And your action item is going to be, once you answer these questions, write a detailed 1-page description of your ideal career. Treat it as a job description for whatever role that's perfectly tailored specifically to you. That's going to be very, very important. What I want in a career might not be the same thing that you want. So this is all about you right here. This action item is all about you. Now, here is one of the things that you can do. Okay. If you're not like a writer, I have an iPhone, and on my phone, there's a notes pad. So you know how when you send text messages and stuff, you can hit the little speech bubble. You can actually talk out what your thoughts are and then take that and plug it into like ChatGPT or something and make it a little more refined too. Listen, AI is here. Let's use the tools. Don't shy away from it. But that's one of the things I do. Throughout the day when I have ideas, I just pull out my notepad, hit the voice, speech bubble, get that thought out, and then I'll be able to transfer that later. All right. So let me check in the chat if we have any questions. So this is step 1. All right, give me 1 second. I don't see any. Okay, I don't see any questions in the chat. Perfect. So let's move on to step 2. All right, let's get this 1 second. Boom. All right, perfect. Got that going. All right. Now, once you have the ideal job description defined in step 1, now you're going to do the research phase. Now, this is probably the most important step out of the 6 steps. Why is that? Because with your clear target in mind, your next task is to become an expert in what it really takes. The reason why this is so important, because when you have all these different forums out here, it's not just LinkedIn. You got Reddit. You got so many different paths, so many different learning, certifications and stuff. Matter of fact, let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Let me show you exactly. This is why it's important to define exactly where you're going. Because in cybersecurity, check it out. These are how many certifications there are. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different domains. And in each domain, there is even separate job sets within the job set. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Right here, you have identity and access management. Right here is security, architecture, and engineering. Orange is pretty much cloud engineering. Okay, but within cloud, you have Server Plus, A Plus, Azure, obviously AWS. Then you have Google Cloud, Red Hat certified architect, Red Hat certified engineer. Like, it's so many different, just in the orange domain, just in the cloud domain. If I had to take a wild guess, it's probably 30 certifications. So the reason why it's important to get once you got your clear target in mind, and you want to find out what it actually takes, because those job descriptions, say for example, you want to become a systems administrator, they would tell you specifically what do you need experience in. It would tell you, okay, you need a CompTIA Security Plus, you probably need a Red Hat System Certified Administrator certification, and maybe some networking experience, for example. Once you get that information and you figure out what it actually takes to get there, now you can start gathering real world data to understand what I just said, the skills, experience, and qualifications required for that specific role. Essentially, you're creating a checklist of requirements. That's pretty much what you're doing. You're creating a checklist of requirements. Okay. Now, this says I'm gonna ask you to make an edit on this, and the link to this career campus is going to be down in the description as well. But I'm gonna make an update because it says scour job boards of 5 to 10 postings. I'm gonna ask you to take this up to 25 to 30. Why? Because what I did when I was creating when I went through this and I created my plan, I reverse engineered my plan. I made sure I had 25 to 30 different job postings in different industries, not just tech. I did banking and I did healthcare as well. And as a matter of fact, I'm about to add utilities to that. So like Georgia Power and other different companies like that, maybe GE, because what I want to do is my goal and what I want to equip you with, I want you to gather the skills that will qualify for you for the most opportunities possible. Do you understand what I'm saying? So like it's kind of like you're killing two birds with one stone because you're gaining the experience, you're getting the certifications, but you're also aligning your skills with as many jobs as possible. For example, it may be I said my earlier example was systems administrator. Well, some of those skills may qualify for you for a junior cloud engineer role. Or maybe if you get your CISA certification, you can probably do something like IT auditor, right? Or you might even do something like IT analyst. When you start to dive into, you're also going to notice that the skill sets are pretty much the same across a lot of different companies, but the job titles are different. That was so key. It really kicked my ass when it came to that because I was trying to figure out, like, well, wait a minute. Why does it say, cloud engineer, for example, at one company, but at another company, it says site reliability engineer? Or for another company, it says software engineering with the focus on infrastructure. All three of those things, believe it or not, three different job titles can all hold similar skills. So that's going to take care of that. So I'm going to up this to 25 to 30 right here. And actually, another key that you can do once you get the 25 to 30 job postings, and I know it might seem like a lot, but hear me out. You're going to put it on a Word document. Take that Word document and then you're going to put it into a keyword analyzer. And what it's going to do is give you the common keywords, required skills, and whatever years of experience. And those are going to be the things that you plug into your resume because it allows you to, for one, get past some of the ATS systems and actually get to a human so they can see it, but you'll be able to match better with a lot more opportunities. You follow me? And this is another good one. Leveraging LinkedIn. Let me tell you something. I cannot stress enough. LinkedIn has been a godsend for me. I literally have used that to not only level up to the position I'm in right now, but I've already put myself in line with my next two roles. I said it. I've already put myself in line for my next two roles. How? Because I'm building genuine relationships. And I'm really cool with people in real life. I really am, right? And also what I've started doing is I started posting once a week. I'm posting different things on my LinkedIn. I have a home lab. Some of you guys seen those pictures on my LinkedIn. I'm building out my home lab right now, right? I volunteer for an event. I put the volunteer information on my page as well. So what I'm doing is I'm sharing what I am actually doing in real life with the people on my LinkedIn, and it's getting me different connections, not only just at my existing corporate job, but this is going to stretch beyond even this immediate next role. Okay, so make sure you leverage LinkedIn for sure. All right. Now, this is another big one. Through LinkedIn, I've been able to make connections with engineering managers and people who can pour into me and give me some insights on what I need to do in order to put myself in a position for the next role. So I've conducted some informational interviews. What is an information interview, David? Okay, I'll tell you what it is. You reach out to someone that's senior than you, and this can be someone who they don't have to just be a manager. They can be a potential teammate, a future teammate, a senior engineer, for example, right? And you're reaching out to them for them to give you insights on what their day-to-day is like. Not only that, this is key right here. What are the challenges? I'm sorry, that's the next step. Most crucial stuff for success, and invite right here. Boom. I think there's a myth out there in the ethos. I don't know where it comes from, but there's a myth that successful people are not reachable. Super successful people, they're not willing to share with you. They're not willing to talk to you. That cannot be I mean, I cannot stress this enough. That is so incorrect. I've met people who are already multimillionaires, people who are already CTOs, CISOs. They're the most kind, giving, like inspirational people that you can actually talk to. And they're looking for people who are inspired, who want to take their advice because they're even, man, they're so willing to give it. I've received so much game on what certifications to get, what groups to join, what networking opportunities should I take up. It's all have been from people who others have told me, hey man, they're not willing to talk. Well, that wasn't my experience when I talked that. They talked to me and they gave me game, and I keep those relationships going to this day. Okay, so don't be scared to reach out to people who you deem that are way more successful than you. And we talked about the industry research a little bit. That's reading publications, the blogs. And what you're trying to do is, I really don't pay attention to the trends as much. I look for what are the challenges, because within the challenges, I can create solutions for those, and that's how I can come in and add value to the team. So when I'm having these informational interviews, I'm asking, hey, how's the team doing? Hey, give me the real. Like, what are some things, what are some challenges that you're having right now? How do you think I can come in and add value to the team? And when they give me those insights, I can take that. And now when I have the conversations with the managers, I can speak from an educated standpoint to where, like, okay, this is what I can bring to the team, and this is why I think that we can improve. And people love to hear how you can come in and you're looking to add value, and you're not just, coming. You just don't want to come in and extract value. I want to add value as well. Okay. So your action item for step 2 is to compile a master list of all the required skills, experiences, qualifications that you uncovered doing your research. You follow me? All right. How we doing on time? Okay, so it's 20. All right, we're 23 minutes in. I want to try to keep this around 45 minutes. I don't want to hold you guys long, but if it goes a little longer, I'm hoping that I can add value. All right, cool. So moving on right now, let me just take a look in the chat. What's going on, family? Welcome in. Hey, I appreciate you, man. I'm hoping that it's adding value to you. Yes, sir. Shout out to you as well. I haven't figured out how to put the comments on the screen just yet, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna keep pushing, and I promise you, once I find out, I'll be able to bring those up. All right. So let's get over to step 3. Step boom. All right. Okay, step 3. So now that we're at step 3, we've already defined our target in step 1, and in step 2, we figured out what it actually takes to get that career. Now we're going to deconstruct the path. What do I mean by that? Okay, so careers, not jobs, but careers are rarely a one-step process, guys. And I cannot stress this enough. I'm going to need you to be as patient as you need to be with yourself. We're all at different levels, and I don't want you comparing yourself to how fast this person has done it or how slow this person has done it. I just need you to get tunnel vision at this moment in time. Focus on your race. Focus on what you need to do in order to get the career that you want. It's okay to pull inspiration from other people, but I don't want you to compare yourself to others. All right. Now, with that being said, it's going to be a series of steps. And I'm going to break it down. I'm going to break it down what I mean, okay? So this step is about identifying those immediate milestones. So For example, with my systems administrator example, I know that one of the certifications that you can get, and that also come along with the skills, is the CompTIA Security Plus. Is kind of like, probably, in my opinion, the best entry level certification that you can get, because it is vendor neutral. So it's not tied to a specific vendor like an AWS or Azure and those things that's a little more advanced. We'll get to those in a later episode. But I think it's important to understand that you want to take that very first step, because it's something called OMO. And once you start building that momentum, I cannot explain it. I promise you, once you get the momentum going, it begins to become a snowball effect in all areas of your life. So what do I mean by that? Okay, I give you an example. When I first started off my LinkedIn page, I had about 150 connections. Truth be told, that 150 people was kind of like people that was kind enough to add me on there because I didn't know these people, right? And that was me building my first initial network. But now I'm a little shy under 1,200 in a course of a 1 year. But now when I post things, there's actually live people who know me in real life, who have worked with me before, and I continue to expand out that network. You feel what I'm saying? So by you identifying those milestones, you can understand the logical progression. Okay? Mapping out your typical journey, you can plan your own route. You remember what I just said, plan your own route, whether or not it's conventional or unique. I'm gonna give you some game right now. There's a certification by IC2 Squared, and this is the same body who give you to test your CCSP and also your CISSP, which is one of the biggest flagstone certifications that you can get in cybersecurity. They have something called the CC, the Certified in Cybersecurity. Now, this particular certification is not one that's going to necessarily get you a job, but I'm gonna tell you what it can do. If you're somebody like me who at one point in time didn't have a lot of experience, IC2 Squared has an opportunity for you to volunteer, sign up as a volunteer. Now, what does this entail? When you sign up as a volunteer, they will pair you with companies local in your area for you to do security audits for them. And this is all, like, this is free, but this is more so for you to gain experience, right? And you can add those things to your resume. And guess what? Now, when you come into the interview, you actually have experience. It didn't say it had to be paid experience, because believe it or not, volunteer experience really helps your resume stand out. Projects, hand-on projects that you can actually prove, whether or not in your GitHub or on your website, it goes a very, very long way. Trust me. I have friends who are recruiters. I have friends who are managers in engineering. I have friends who are directors over cybersecurity, and they will tell you one of the number one things that stand out is hands-on experience. So you can take the certified in cybersecurity certification. I think the course is about 13 hours, and you can go take that exam. And once you get that, all you need is one certification and be a member of the ISCT2 embody it, and then they will allow you to volunteer with companies who are signed up with them. And that's how you can get your experience. All right, so that's just like a little bonus nugget right there. Okay. Now, getting back to step 3, identify key milestones. What are the typical entry level and mid level roles that lead to your target position? So, for example, analyst leads to a senior analyst, for example. So, you want to figure out what is the career trajectory of that role you want to go to. And you may even say, all right, my goal is to be a manager. Okay, cool. Well, you got to be an analyst first, and then a senior analyst. Then you can become a manager. You see what I'm saying? So it allows you to get those steps, and then you know exactly what you need to do. All right, next, map out prerequisite skills. We kind of talked about that a little bit. What skills of experience are necessary? How does, one role prepare you for the other one as well? And consider alternate paths. I just gave you one alternate path. I just gave you one. Okay. Another one is volunteering. You want me to tell you an area that has been so overlooked and people are really sleeping on? K through 12, colleges, and local city government. I cannot stress this enough. K through 12s. I know a guy who literally just graduated college. He had been out of university for 1 year. He had 1 year experience and he was working for, I'm not going to say the college, but he was working for a college, and that college hired him to be the director of cybersecurity over the entire college. He had a degree, he had 1 year of experience, and it's just such a talent gap in those different sectors to where you can move up pretty quick. So look at that. Did someone pivot from a different industry? Can the skills be gained from freelancing or doing personal projects? We talked about all of that. You got it. So the action step for step 3 is to create a flow chart or a timeline that illustrates one or more potential career paths from your entry level position towards your ultimate goal. That's your action step. All right, so let me take a look right here real quick. Okay, we good? All right, we're cooking. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take we're about halfway through right now. We have the last 3 steps, which is going to be analyzing skills gaps, building your blueprint, and then executing and iterating off of that plan. All right, so I'm going to take a quick little break. I'm going to go grab me some water. I'll be right back real soon. All right, be right back. All right, we back. We are back. I just had to go grab me a little drink of water. So we on step 4 now. So step 4 is identifying the skills gaps. Now, let me go back real quick. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. Step 1, we define the target, so we figured out exactly what type of career we want. Okay. Number 2, we research the end goal, meaning what does it really take to get this? Like, what does it really take? I know what's on Reddit. I know what people are saying, but what do I actually need to get this role? Okay. And then number 3, we broke that down into milestones and we put it in order. Okay. We know we want to become a manager, for example. We will need to be an analyst first, then a senior analyst, and then move our way up to being a manager. You follow me? So now we're on step 4. Now we're on step 4. I'm excited, man. So this is a crucial moment of self-reflection. Okay. Now this is where we get real. We got the goal. We know what we need to do. We done broke it down into steps, into milestones. Now we need to make a self audit. Okay. And you're going to be asking yourself, how many of these do I really, really have? And you got to be, this is where you have to be real, because there's nothing worse than thinking that you're better than what you actually are, or thinking that you hold more value in the job market than what people are really willing to pay. I always remember my mentor told me it's not about how much you think it is, right? The value is what somebody willing to pay for, not how much you value it. And that it sometimes can be yourself. It can be something you're selling, something tangible, a product or something like that. So with that being said, what did I just say? Got to be honest. Got to be real. What do I already have? Okay. And how does these things I have align with my target? Do it really align with my target? If it doesn't, that's cool. But at this moment, this is where you got to really lay it out on the line. You got to make a gap analysis. Okay. So what that means is, when you have the skills, the experience that you already, figured out what you need to get this role in the last step, and you broke it down into milestones, now you need to say, okay, categorize this thing out. Is this something technical that I'm lacking? Is it a soft skill? Is it industry knowledge? Or is it certifications? And what I like to do, what I did was I made like a chart, and I wish I would have brought it with me, but I made a chart and I had these different things on the chart. And I was real with myself. I was like, well, I'm really, really strong on soft skills, but I don't have the technical skill. I don't have the industry knowledge, and I damn sure don't have the certifications. So I had to make a path, and I tied the gap analysis to the milestones. And I was saying, like, okay, I want to improve my communication skills. I know I need more certifications. I know I need to kind of read up on the industry a little bit and find out where the industry is headed. Because I also want to make sure the skills that I'm acquiring, I don't want to acquire skills just to acquire skills. I don't want to acquire certifications just to get certifications. No, I want to get things that's going to actually lead me to the goal to what I want to accomplish. You following me? Okay, so look at this. What does it say? Once you have your list of gaps, prioritize them. This is essential. Prioritize. Personally, I like to prioritize what's going to have the biggest impact first. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about, because I don't want you to think I'm just capping, right? Let me show you what I mean. Oh, let me go. Okay, I'm going to go back to the beginner. Okay, so this is roadmaps.sh. Matter of fact, I can put a link to this down in the description as well. So, for example, I want to become a DevOps / cloud engineer. I've been working towards this for the last couple of months, going on 3 months, right? And on this roadmap, it tells you specifically what skills you need to have in order to qualify for entry level to mid level roles. So, one of the toughest things for me over the years has been learning how to program. It has been kicking my ass for a long time. More specifically, C sharp. So I got away from C sharp. I said, all right, that's a little more advanced. Let me start off with Python. So I've been learning Python. Okay. Now it tells you on this roadmap what is DevOps. And then it tells you, okay, pick any programming language. You can pick any language. The goal is to learn how to write automation scripts. So I've been working on that. This is probably between programming and Linux. These are the two heavy lifting things right here out of this entire roadmap. And this is the beginner side of it as well. If you switch over to the detailed version, look at all this. This is a lot of stuff to learn, right? So if you can imagine, this is not a 2-month, 3-month process. But one of the things I want you to pay attention to when you go on like this roadmap, because a lot of the roles, especially in tech, they have roadmaps specifically that can kind of tie into what you've already identified in steps 1 through 3. Okay. I go over to the beginner version because in this little key, it tells you this is a recommendation that they recommend. Now, roadmaps was created by industry experts, managers, recruiters in an attempt to equip people with the type of information you need to really get the skills to break into these roles and to help out with the shortage. Okay. So, with that being said, purple is what they recommend. Green is like an alternative. And this gray right here is, do at your own pace. So, when I switch over to this beginner, I'm only focusing on purple. If you notice, I've got operating system done already. I have networking and protocols done already. And I'm actually working on both of these simultaneously because some of the Linux commands and stuff, it actually kind of falls into Python. So those two go hand in hand. Okay. But it tells me specifically what I need to learn. Even in networking and protocols, it tells you exactly what you need to learn right here. All right. So that's roadmaps. And if you go to the home page, this is what I meant. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see it. Okay. See, based on roles, front end, full stack, AI engineer, DevOps, cybersecurity. And if you click on these, it's going to have, look at this, hack the box, try hack me. It tells you exactly what it is you need in order to, now it seems like a lot, but I promise you, once you start going through it, it's going to be a piece of cake. Okay. So I'll put this tool, let me make a note of that so I can make sure I bring this tool. I'll put this link down there for you guys. So, like I said, you're going to prioritize them. And what are your absolute must-haves to get your foot in the door? And what are your nice-to-haves? I want to make this point. Your must-haves are things that you absolutely need to get the job. Let me pull up a description. So, systems administrator role. I want to show you, illustrate what I'm talking about. All right, let's pull this up. Actually, let's go to my LinkedIn. I'll share this with you guys. We're family. I'll share it with you guys. Let's see. So let's go to jobs. And I'm just going to pull up a role. Let's go here. All right. This is a good example. Okay. So things your brain. All right. Perfect. So going back, must-haves, in my opinion, are something like this. What you would bring to this role. These are your absolute must-have skills to get this systems administrator role at Morgan Stanley. Okay. Now, nice to haves will be here, desired skills. See, if you notice, the bachelor's degree, look at this, it even said in the first sentence, BS degree in CS is preferred but not mandatory. Anytime you see something that is preferred but is not mandatory, that is a nice to have. But if you see something that says, hey, this is what you're bringing to the role, that is a must have. Let me find one more example for you guys. Because I want to drill home this point. I want to bring home this point so you understand where I'm coming from. Boom. Primary, let's see, requirements, skill. All right, perfect. Here's another one. Okay. Primary responsibilities. This is going to be must-haves. All right. These skills right here. No, actually, requirements. Here you go. Requirements right here. Skills and competencies. This would be your must-haves. This would be your nice-to-haves. And if you notice, companies list it differently, but I want you to get used to kind of reading between the lines with what they're saying. Let me see if I can find one more, a better example of that. Let's go to Figma, security engineer. Boom, here we go. We'll love to hear from you if you have these. These are must-haves. Must-have skills right here. Okay? While not required, it's an added plus if you also have these. These are nice to haves. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I mean by once you have your lists, prioritize them. What are must haves and what are nice to haves? These are things that you can develop over time. So your action item for step 4 is create 2 columns on one piece of paper or on a Word doc. And you want to put your what I have and what I need and fill them both out. And this is where you be real with yourself. And then based off of whatever you have and what you need, you'll prioritize them with this is what I absolutely must have to get the job. And this is what will be nice to have that I can get down the road. And you're done with step 4. Easy peasy, like my kids say, lemon squeezy. Just as simple as that. All right. So moving along, we're almost done here. We're at about 40. Okay, not too bad. About 47 minutes. Let's move on here. And now this is where the fun comes in. Step 5, building your blueprint. Okay. So recap. We defined the target. Step 1, we figured out exactly what we needed. In step 2, step 3, we deconstructed the path, put that thing in milestones. And in step 4, we analyze compared to the list on what we need and stuff, what we have right now. And now we're about to start building the blueprint so we can acquire what we need. Now it's the time to turn your analysis into an actionable plan. This is what a rubber hits the road. This is what a rubber meets the road right now. You want to build your own personal roadmap. Now, the thing about roadmaps.com is that you can actually, roadmap.sh is that you can create your own roadmap. Show you what I'm talking about. Go to my account here and it says new roadmap. You can hit this and you can create your own based off of what you need to learn. I just followed the one that was already made up for DevOps engineer because pretty much it aligned with everything that I needed. So I implore you, before you actually build your own blueprint, if it's something tech related, come to roadmap.sh first and see if they already have a roadmap for it. Like I said, go to the homepage and just search, just take a look, because it can even be skills. It doesn't have to be role-based specific. It can be skills as well. And that'll put you, even if it's not everything you need, that'll get you closer so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. They even have stuff for AI agents, AI red teaming, and all these things. These things are new that's popping up. Okay? So you want to create your skill acquisition plan. For each missing skill, identify how you'll learn it. Okay, what specific, like online course? Is it a book? Is it a project or something that you can, use to further? I like doing projects on top of what I'm learning book wise because it allows me to retain the skill more and I kind of get that muscle memory down. So I don't want you to just go through courses without actually doing hands-on labs and then doing your own projects. And we talked about the experience building plan. How you gain a necessary experience? What does it say? Volunteer work. Seeking specific projects at your current job. That's another thing you can do too. We have something that's called stretch assignments to where we can take on additional projects from teams to gain those hands-on things. Maybe you can shadow somebody. That's another idea too. You can shadow people, and that will give you experience because you can refer back to that when you're talking in your interviews and when you're having those informal meetings as well. And what's going to be your network strategy? Who do you need to connect with? Okay, identify those individual targets in the companies and the industry events. Now, one thing that I do a little different is I start with the manager of the team that I want to get on first. The thought process behind that is, well, if I can kind of go to the source, to the hiring manager, and then go to the team members after that, for one, I can easily say, hey, John, just reaching out. I would love to grab some time on your calendar. Tim said you'll be a great person to get some insights on. I'm looking to break into cybersecurity. I'm in sales right now, and I heard that you were the go-to person to talk to. Do you have 30 minutes, a couple weeks from now, where I can kind of pick your brain a little bit? I'd love to get your insights. What do you think about that? It gives me more credibility. And on top of that, it shows initiative to the manager who I met with prior. And then it gives me a little of higher chance, in my experience, to get a yes. Okay, you talked to Tim. That's cool. Yeah, David, I'd love to meet with you. Throw some time on my calendar, or maybe we can meet for a coffee or something like that. And that's how you start to build those relationships. Okay? Make sense? Let me see in the chat. Give me a one. Give me a one in the chat if it makes sense. Okay, great. And timeline and milestones. This is a bit touchy subject for me because on one hand, I do understand why people say create timelines because goals for most people without a deadline sometimes don't get done. But I've also seen to where people can sort of use that timeline as a crutch. So what I mean by that is if I say, okay, I'm going to write this paper by Friday. In the past, I found myself writing the paper Thursday night when I've had all week to do it. So what I do, and I want you to do what works for you. What I do to combat that, because I know myself and I be real with myself, I say, okay, I need to write this paper as soon as possible. So rather than saying I want to have it done by Friday, I just say, hey, I'm going to put 30 minutes. I'm going to block out 30 minutes on my calendar every day, 30 minutes every day, so I can write this paper so I can get this done. And that has worked better for me rather than saying I'm going to get it done by Friday and Thursday night I'm up at 11:59 writing a damn paper. I promise you. I don't know. I can't explain it, but it just tends to happen like that for whatever reason. And you want to break your goal down into quarterly, monthly objectives to stay on track. So be realistic with the deadlines, guys. Like whatever works for you. Like don't tell yourself I want to have 3 certifications in 2 weeks. I mean, come on, don't be crazy. All right, like give yourself a chance to win, especially if it's something that you've tried before and it didn't work. You started and stopped. Give yourself an opportunity to win by setting realistic expectations and then continuing to push those things farther and farther and farther. Okay? So your action item for step 5 is to write out a detailed action plan. For each item of like what I need list, so you're going to take that same list of what I need and you're going to assign specific resources in terms of like, okay, so I need to learn networking. I'm going to take the Coursera networking course, and here's the link to that. And I want to have this done by September, for example. That's how you win. That's how you really put yourself in a position to take it to the next level, okay? And then from that, you'll be able to really, really level up and really set yourself apart. And that's it for step 5. So how are we feeling? How are we feeling about everything? I'm gonna grab my water real quick. I hope that this is making sense. I hope that this is making sense. And I hope that this stream, this an impromptu stream, is adding value to you guys. Cause I really want to pour into you, and I really want you to win, man. I really do. And I do everything in my power to help you guys out and to make that happen. Okay. So we are at step 6. We're here. If you made it through the video this far, let me give you a hand clap because listen, I'm gonna tell you, and small rant incoming. Listen, so many people talk about what they want to do, and so many people. Let me solo shop for a second. Let me solo shop for a second because so many people talk about what they're going to do, and I hear it all the time, day in, day out. This person didn't help me, right? As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm a hold off on that. Let me finish step 6 and then I'm coming back. I'm coming back because we got to talk about this. We got to talk about it. All right. So I'm gonna go back to step 6 for a second. I'm gonna go back. So step 6, finally, if you made it through the video this far, you're a superstar. Let me give you a hand clap. Let me shout out to you, salute to you for hanging in there. I know that you're serious and you're the type of people that I want in my circle. You are the family, my extended family that I want to build with, that I want to build this community with. You're the people that I'm going to see at the top because you're serious about winning. And this is why I do what I do. This is why I do what I do. So step 6, execute and iterate. So we're going to build and test this thing out. All right. I put this at the top because this is important. A plan is useless without action. Get out of here, Nat. A plan is useless without action. You got to get active. You got to get active. Okay? The final step is all about execution, learning from whatever temporary failures, I call them speed bumps, whatever speed bumps you encounter, and you adapting to whatever throws at you. So let me give you an example of that. Right now, I am on course 6 in the Google cybersecurity course, and my first certification I'm going for is the CompTIA Security Plus. So what's funny about that is I enrolled in my Python course through Coursera at first, and at the time it only had like 5 courses. But then they came out with a new AI course that can help you with your job search. So that's at the end. So when I say be adaptable, I had already planned to do the 5 courses in that Python course. I did not plan for 6. This 6th course added an entire 3 weeks onto my completion date, on my expected completion date. And then I thought about it. I said, well, wait a minute. If it's the same course that's in my Google course, if it's the same course to help you with your job search, I don't have to go through the whole thing. And I learned that by being adaptable. You know what I mean? That's how I was able to pick up on that. So I want you to be adaptable. Your career journey is a dynamic process, guys. Like your blueprint should be a living document. Don't be so static. Adapt to it. You're going to adjust, learn as you grow along. All right. As you go along, I call it grow along, and you're going to encounter new opportunities. The biggest thing, if you don't take nothing else from this hour-long masterclass on reverse engineering your career, you have to take consistent action. If you go back to my roadmaps, this is one of the things that I'm most proud of. I've been on this roadmap specifically 52 days in a row. Another thing, let me go over to my Try Hack Me. Shout out to Maddox 12. He put me on Try Hack Me. Guess what? I'm already on 6 days, just that quick. Believe it or not, the time goes by fast. Okay, I've already completed a couple of rooms too. Check me out. Check Rock Eye. Check me out, huh? I already completed a couple of things. So having streaks to where you can keep up with, I think that is extremely important. Another thing too, in Coursera, I love Coursera. Let me clear this out. Let me go to the course. Boom. Check this out right here. Resume. All right, boom. Look at this. Where is it? Where do you go? Boom. You're on track with your 7-day learning goal. I got to complete my thing today so I can check out Friday. You follow me? So consistency is going to be key. Going back over to this. Now, seek feedback. This is another big one. Share your progress with your mentors and your peers. You can't live in a silo. You gotta get feedback from people. I just sent my resume over to a couple of my friends for them to review, and they already sent me feedback based off of what's good, what's not. And some of these people are already managers. Use your network. Okay? We already talked about be flexible and adaptable. New technologies emerge, industry shift, and your interests may evolve. For me, what's crazy about it is I actually wanted to be a cybersecurity analyst at first. And now it evolved into cloud engineering. And I said, well, wait a minute. I like the thought of being involved with an incident when a security breach happened, being on call, having a little pager, and being able to work with being like for example, being a site reliability engineer. Sometimes you have to work this. So it's something that's called sun up to sundown. And what that it means is there's a 7-day period to where I would have to be on call in that role. Now I work from, a normal shift, let's say 9 to 6 or something. And then someone who lives maybe overseas, they take the post when I get off, because it's kind of like they're working 9 to 6, but it's the opposite because maybe they're in, let's say, the UK or something, or Australia will be a better example. So their morning time is my nighttime. My nighttime is their morning time, but I'm working Monday through Sunday. So it evolved from cybersecurity analyst to cloud engineer to DevOps engineer to now SRE, incident response more specifically. So be open to that, man. Like don't be afraid to let it evolve. Okay? And you're going to track your progress. Celebrate your wins, guys, no matter how small. Even if I just on Fridays, you know what I do? I go to Zaxby's. Zaxby's is one of my favorite restaurants. I go to Zaxby's and I might get me a Zax snack and just go chill, take my computer. I go by myself. I put my phone on silent and I'm just kicking it. I'm just kicking it with me. On Sundays, I go out every other Sunday. I go out to the mountain. I go hiking. I go running. I go to the gym. I go to the sauna. I go do small things to keep myself going because I understand the power of celebrating the small wins, no matter how small it is. And I want you to do the same thing too. And you're going to regularly review your plan to see what's working and what's not and make adjustments. Make adjustments. So your action item for step 6 is to schedule a recurring weekly or monthly check-in on your calendar to review your progress, adjust your plans, and set the goals for the next period. So one bonus I want to give you is what I did, and it doesn't matter. I even did this when I was working at Walmart. When I was working at Walmart, I had got on a waiting list because they actually pay for your training. So what do I mean by that? If you have a job right now, I hope you do, by the way, whatever job you have, check with your employer and see if they have any existing training programs that they're willing to pay for. Do they have tuition reimbursement? For me, when I checked into that, not only was I able to get, man, I got Pluralsight, which is another website like Coursera. I have a 1 year subscription to that. I have Coursera plus 1 year subscription to that, right? And I'm gonna check and see if they have anything for some of the certifications. If you go take the Google cybersecurity course, they give you a 30% voucher when you go and pay for the exam. The exam by itself is like $475, I think, last time I checked. So looking at different things like that to where your current employer can take away some of that cost is going to be key. But I want to be candid with you. You can't be a cheapskate when you want to level up. Think about it. If you're making 30, 40, 50,000 on your existing job, I mean, you can't pay $500 for a course, $300 for a certification, you know, $15 a month for, say, Trello, for example, that can help you with your calendar so you can be more efficient. If you can't do those things, then maybe this entire live stream is not for you, because you got to be willing to invest in yourself. Now, I'm not telling you to go out there and just blindly pay for things. No, that's the whole reason why I did this entire live stream. I don't want you to do that. But I do want you to understand that investing in yourself is the first best investment that you can make in your entire life. I promise you that. I took improv classing. I took Toastmasters before. I've been a part of a lot of different things to where I've spent thousands, and I mean tens of thousands of dollars on trainings, on masterminds, seminars. I did all that type of stuff. And sometimes you don't immediately see the quick return on investment, but I promise you, a lot of people be like, man, what should I invest in? Should I do stocks? Should I do crypto? Should I do real estate? I always tell them, shit, are you making 250, 300K right now on your day job? No. Okay. Well, the first investment should be yourself. Straight up. That should be the first investment, is you. Okay. So I hope that this added value to you guys, and shout out to everyone who is watching this back. If you didn't catch it live, man, I really, really appreciate you. Now I'm going to flip over because now it's time to do my personal rant. All right. So let me flip over to this. All right, guys, listen. I'm gonna be kind this time. But I hear so many people tell me that I don't have the information. Nobody gonna help put me on. This person, when they got the job, they didn't want to give me a referral. Let me tell you something, man. You got to develop the mindset to where you gonna be your own ladder. You gonna put yourself on. And developing that mindset, it then, I can't explain it, but people can see who is really hungry, who is willing to put in the work, who's willing to actually take the steps necessary, and they'll help you once you get some things going on for yourself. But we have too many tools to not have our resume together. We have too many templates to not have our website together. If you don't have a LinkedIn already, what are you waiting on? Use what you have. LinkedIn is free. Okay, you can get a website. You can use ChatGPT. You can use Gemini. There's too many things, too many tools out there for you to have excuses to not level up. And I want to send a shout out to everybody who was laid off recently, whether or not it's Microsoft or any other company. Listen, I've been through four layoffs. I've been laid off 4 times throughout my entire career. And this is not just in the tech industry. When I worked in shipyards, when I worked at selling cars and sales jobs, I've been laid off before, and I know it's scary. I know it's frustrating. And sometimes it can have you questioning whether or not your value is what you really thought it was, especially if you've been with a company for quite some time. But I'm here to tell you that when these things happen, you don't always have insights, not all the time, but sometimes you can kind of see the writing on the wall. And anytime I hear rumors, I don't give a damn if it's somebody just talking. If I hear a rumor that there's a potential layoff, first off, I'm always interviewing. Even if it's informal, I'm always interviewing. I never stop reaching out to people. I never stop connecting with people, no matter how much I enjoy the job. I never do that because you don't want to be caught in a position to where something happens and now here you are having to put one of them posts on there like, man, I seen the post. It was so sad. And I'm not going to say the guy's name. I seen the post and he was like, hey, I just got laid off. I'm a software engineer at Microsoft. My wife and I was about to have our first baby. You know, we just bought a house. And I can just, the more I read the message, the more upset I became, not at the fact that he got laid off, because I'm like, bro, like, what are you doing? Like, you can't get comfortable, man. And I'm not saying this specifically to him, right? I'm just saying in general. I don't want to, knock him down, nothing like that. But you can't get comfortable in any role, no matter how much money you're making, no matter how much tenure you have. You got to put yourself in a position to where you can go to any company at any time. Real talk. You have to. If you're a software engineer, you came in 5 years ago, you can see that the industry is not the same. Evolve. Maybe you got to get other certifications. Continue to add on to your skill set. Continue to network. Don't stop going to the meetup groups. This is something like, and also, I mean, it goes without saying, save your money, invest right. Don't just take the vacation with your sign-on bonus, put it into something, put it into stocks, put it into somewhere to where you can have that nest egg to where you're not caught with your pants down. I don't like saying things like that. It really upsets me because I know what it feels like when I lost everything and when our cars were repossessed and we were evicted from our home and when I had to go get 3 jobs. I was working at Walmart, Carvana, and at a restaurant. And it wasn't even a good restaurant. I was working all three. I was working all three, real talk. And I was going to school at the same time just to keep things afloat. And it's stressful. So live streams like this, and I'm going to do this periodically, maybe once every 3 weeks or something like that. If I feel like a subject that can really add value, I have like a quick, hour-long live stream with you guys. But I'm hoping that you can build tangible skills that are value in the marketplace. Continue to evolve. Don't become stagnant. Don't get comfortable. And I promise you, you do those things. And obviously, I'm not shy to say it. Obviously, you got to keep God first, stand to your word and things like that too. But you also got to take tangible action, man. Don't be one of those people that just talking. All right. I hope this added value to you. I love you. I appreciate you. Y'all have a great Friday, man. I'm going to chop this video up, obviously. And like I said, the link is going to be in the description for this tool. This tool is yours, your career compass. I hope that this added value to you. And I hope you use this to take advantage of all the opportunities that's coming, because despite everything that's going on in the market, there's still people out there getting rich. And remember, every day there's about 1,700 new millionaires. Why not me? Why not you? I love you. Have a good night, man. Peace. That was dope. That was dope. I know. For sure.